Yeah, Octus TC. I actually have a question that we can kick off with, actually. From White Zombie 117. So White Zombie 117, early in the chat as well, was one of the first questions we got, asked, will there be more multiplayer characters in Gears of War 4 than Gears of War 3? Now, we're not talking about specific numbers right now, but one thing I can say is that you've kind of seen with the pre-order characters we announced this week, we put a ton of effort into all our characters. They're very unique. It's, you know, when you get a character skin, for example, Judgment, it was more of an overlay. It wasn't as super customized to the character. What we're doing in Gears 4 is really putting a lot of time and effort and really pushing that quality bar on all our characters. So I can't give you a number right now, but I can say that I think you'll be, and I think you'll be pretty pleased by the quality of everything we're putting out on that bar. We're really, really pushing that front.
And they're cool looking.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. I have some favorites that I can't talk about yet as well.
I think the esports ones are cool.
I think everyone thinks that.
We'll see. Okay, actually that leads into a good question from Jamie Bossut. I hope I pronounced that right, otherwise it's going to kill me. Okay, will Gears pack sales be used to fund prize pools? Yes, they will. So we have a couple different things going on to help with esports. So we are going to have some general Gears esports items that will support the program overall, as well as funding more events and larger prize pools, and hopefully also more travel coverage for teams. But we also are going to have, you know, specific items just for specific events as well. So that will be really cool. And then one of the things that we also announced recently was that we are going to be doing team DLC, so team weapon skins and maybe some more cool items that I can't talk about just yet, but we are going to have team weapon skins that are going to go and contribute to some of the amazing organizations we have involved in Gears, and hopefully go on to support, you know, the teams and the players. So that is really important to us, that we're able to support, you know, the whole ecosystem.
Rocky4455 has asked, will there be another beta? So there's a simple answer question to that question. It's there won't be another beta. When we did our beta, it was very early in development. I'm sure you've all seen the videos we've released since the beta, and the major step in graphical enhancements. Obviously, we did a whole developer blog on the improvements we've made since beta. And at this point, we're just focused on pushing for the release. You know, we're 2 months away, so there will not be another beta. It's all the road to release now. I think actually it's a great point to kind of come in and talk about a little bit about core settings, actually, because I've seen a little bit of confusion about what we meant when we talked about core versus competitive.
And this guy actually, Xmordane, asked about if you could explain the weapon balancing.
Brilliant, perfect. Yeah. So one of the things that I think is really important to get across about core is that when we made this decision, it was because we really wanted to make sure we had, as you said, Jack, that we had this really esports focused experience that could support team play at the highest level. But the thing is, we didn't want to change the fundamental game that Gears gamers know and love. You know, if you look back at Gears 3, for example, and that sort of balance there, you know, there was things that people wanted changed, and hopefully you feel like we did that with Gears of War 4, and you will when you get to the final release. But people really like that sort of experience there, and, you know, really changing the damage values downwards a lot would potentially be something that Gears gamers aren't looking for. And so when we did the core competitive changes, it was really say, like, we want to make sure that every Gears gamer gets the experience they're expecting and wants, and then there's a more competitive, more team-based experience at the top end that you can progress to and experience on modes like Escalation, for example. So I just want to, like, and I guess one of the bigger perceptions out there as well is that, you know, is core more overpowered than I'm used to? And the answer to that is no. What you experience in the beta is essentially the same sort of experience that we've based on and continue to base on for core. So it's really important to us to kind of reiterate that what you played in the beta is core, and then obviously we've made the tweaks and tunes since then to improve that experience based on your feedback, which we gathered a ton of comments. It was a very interesting couple of weeks for me. Domes Live asks, when can I get the wall bounce camo? So how do you get that camo in UE?
Oh, that guy is from Vex. So for UE, you get it from being a pro player in the Pro League. We also gave it to the top winning team from the Definity event in Definity London. That was Excess. But we haven't figured out if we're going to give it to any MLG Columbus teams yet. So we'll see. Maybe if Vex wins today, they'll get it. You know? No, we'll figure something out and get back to you guys on that.
I actually have one from Bumza, of all the names to have to read out on a stream, who asks, will game modes like Wingman, Assassination / Guardian, and even Submission return for Gears of War 4? So we did actually announce this in a trailer around the beta time. Guardian is indeed returning for Gears of War 4. I recently was playing it in a playtest and came out with the biggest smile on my face. I'm a massive Guardian fan, so I'm really excited for people to kind of hear more about that in the future. The answer on Wingman is something that we actually talked about on one of our rodcasts, which is, Wingman isn't in one of our shipping game modes. That's not to say there's no chance of it coming back, but right now it's not in the game modes that will be on the disc when you play this October. We know it's a popular mode, and who knows what's in store for the future, but right now we have nothing to share on that front. I actually have a question from Onyx Guard 109 Xbox, who asks, is there a card collection?
Onyx Guard, shout out to the 4 rounds.
I know, right?
Sorry.
I need to connect Twitch handles to forum handles. It's crazy. Is there a card collection book in the game, and are there going to be any timed exclusives such as community skins and emblems? So what I can say is, in terms of card collection, you've definitely got an inventory, obviously, of the cards you've got and the cards you can get. When it comes to things like timed exclusives, absolutely. I think some of the things that we can kind of hint at least towards now is, we know a lot of you really loved the events we did in UE where we gave you a weapon skin during certain events. That's something we'd love to bring back. And also on the community front, we really do believe, and we always have, and it's been kind of ingrained in the UE culture even before I got here, and Jack had a lot of the community weapon skins along with the team that put a lot of effort into building those for the fans. Ways we can reward players for doing amazing things in our community. And we absolutely have that. One of the things we've revealed already is Gears Honor, which is one that I'm particularly excited about, which is a really, really awesome looking emblem that we're going to be giving out to people who do standout things in our community. And it can be things like an in-game feat. For example, the first person who got it was our first to 100 in the beta. Fell Blue Dodger, another big shout out in the community. And then other things like created some of the most amazing cosplay we've seen in the Gearsverse, or it could be you did an amazing job organizing a community event that the fans really love. Like, we just want to have something that we can say to a fan, you did something amazing, here's something super exclusive. Beyond that, we are going to have other things. The Coalition Army, and the Coalition Army in general is something I want to talk about later, but when the Coalition Army really starts ramping up, we'll have some stuff for those guys and girls who are in our community there. Not quite ready to talk about that yet because we can show you some cool stuff in the future, but we are going to have things that really rewards our community and kind of gives back to you guys for all the amazing work you do out there. So, long-winded answer from me now. Matchu12 has asked, is there still bloom on the sniper rifle? The answer to that is yes. It has been tweaked a little bit since beta, so if you're in cover, you won't actually get the bloom, but out of cover you will get the bloom, as with kind of Gears 3 had. So it's just one of those things that is about balancing, but let me tell you, some of the stuff I witnessed from our resident kind of like super good Gears player, which is Soapy, do with the sniper rifle today on Foundry. It's still a beast of a weapon. If you've got the skill for it, it's a beast of a weapon. So it's a personal favorite of mine. Sorry, just reading questions. I've got a lot of questions of people asking, is there free-for-all in Gears of War 4? Same answer as Wingman, really. No, there is not in the shipping game. That's not to say we won't ever do it. It's not to say that it can't come later, but free-for-all is not, quote-unquote, in the box this October. We've got 11 game modes, I believe it is, 10, I can't remember what we said in the trailer, but we have a lot of game modes, and who knows what could come afterwards, but right now in the box it's not there. Hopefully we can answer some well-asked questions for now. This is one that will be an interesting one to answer. So Karenzi's asked, what's on the developer playlist? So for people who don't know, the developer playlist is a playlist that you get access to if you buy Gears of War Ultimate Edition or the Season Pass. It's one of the perks of the Ultimate Edition offering and the Season Pass offering by giving you kind of 3-4 days early access to various things. So we haven't talked what's going into it, but you kind of know what's out there in the UE community, right? We do special events. We have, well, obviously in UE we didn't, but with Gears 4 we got maps coming. So it's really going to be a place where we can try things out with you. Maybe it's different settings, maybe it's a special event, maybe it's even a map preview, but it's basically going to be a place where you can get to things first and experience things first. So we haven't kind of announced or locked down the details of what specifically is going in there, but we will definitely put it to good use. Dead Monkey 11 has asked, is core ranked or is it only in competitive? So I presume you mean the ranking system you saw in the beta, obviously, which is a big part of our game. Core will also be ranked. So you will get a rank in core and competitive. So you don't just have to play competitive to get a skill ranking. As we kind of talked about when we revealed the ranking system, we really think it's going to help players play against people of similar skill levels. You know, as everyone knows, Gears has one of the more interesting skill curves in games, and so what we hope is that that's going to let you find people who are in your skill bracket, play against people who are going to give you a challenge, but also be of that same caliber, and then you can grow your skill set and get even better. Or if you're a pro, then you can just play with the other pros, and I'll try and get there someday. So. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there's been a couple questions. Are we going to make skins buyable like Neptune, Wallbound, Straight Line? So no, those are community reward skins. We aren't going to make those available for purchase in UE. You know, you never know what's going to happen in Gears of War 4. So you know, stay tuned for that. But no, in UE, those are reward items that you can get through giveaways and through extra special achievements. So we're not going to be selling those.
Yeah, I think it's really important for us to there's a lot of people who really worked hard to earn those through competitions or earn them through tournaments and so forth. So what we're really hoping
is
that
even being present at all of our streams.
Exactly, yeah, and we just want to make sure that if you've gone out there and you've done something to earn those skins, that we don't kind of take that away from you when it comes to UE skins. So. We hope if you've got one out there, you're super enjoying it, and if you don't have one, there's going to be probably more opportunities before release to get one. So.
Great, and I've got a question from Deadly Killer 117. Apologies, I was like distracted. I'm just trying to keep up with this chat. How will you decide
which teams you want to play as in multiplayer in, I presume, in Gears 4, such as Cobb, Swarm, or DBs? So DBs are actually on the same team as Swarm for multiplayer purposes. So. When you go in MP, you can either pick to be a DB character or a Swarm character if you're on that team, and if you're the COG, obviously you can pick one of the outside. It's kind of human or COG characters on that team, so versus non-humans almost.
Will there be tequila? Well, no comment there. Is there an inventory list for the physical gear pack cards for people that want to collect all of the physical cards?
Sorry, could you repeat that question? Sorry.
Is there a list basically? They're asking like, will they be able to see a list of all the packs and cards and everything that they can collect?
That's an interesting question. More than likely, it's the kind of thing we'd love to do from a community standpoint. We definitely want to let you guys know what's out there and how you can get it. But right now, I don't have anything specific.
It is shown in the game. Like
you mean
cards.
In the game as well?
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I thought you meant from outside. Yeah. So in the game, one of the cool things is when you go to your inventory, not only do you see the cards you currently have, but you also see the other cards you can get. And so that's a way of kind of knowing what the content is. And that's important for us, right? Because one of the things we revealed in our first developer blog, which was about gear packs and the card system, was the ability to create cards. So what you're going to be able to do is any card you earn, with some exceptions, but mostly every card you earn, will be able to be destroyed. And you can destroy it for a currency called scrap, which is a specific currency that you earn through destroying cards. And if you collect enough scrap, depending on the rarity of the cards you want to create, you can then create any card you want, again, with a few exceptions. So. The great thing about that is if I get, 5, for example, we've got the jungle long shot camo that some people have seen. If I got 5 jungle camos that weren't really my style, maybe I'm more of an Arctic camo guy or something like that, I could actually dismantle my jungle camo ones and use the scrap towards, or if I had enough, build an Arctic camo card, for example. So you can really kind of pick the content you want and get to it by destroying cards that you maybe isn't so much your style. And I think that's really important for us because obviously it's a customization system, right? At its core, we don't have anything that impacts versus MP with regards to upsetting balance or anything. So letting you get to the customization items that you want is something that was really at the core of the system. Awesome. I have a question from Stomp Your Feet who asks, when will we see achievements? It's a great question. It sounds like the kind of thing that would be good for a future development blog. Timing and date, who knows? How we might do it, who knows? One thing I would say is I'm really excited for people to see, as kind of revealed by Rod, I think it was a good couple of months ago now, that we are obviously having another Seriously. It's a Gears tradition to have a Seriously. And I'm really excited to see what people will make of the new Seriously. Personal favourite achievement hunt of mine. I earned 1, 2, and Judgment, not 3 though.
I only got Seriously in 1.
So that's like one of the better seriously achievements
I
to
wanted
get,
that
though. That's
like
one of the
perfect
correct
gamer
ones.
score, you know?
That gamer picture was awesome. I repped that for so long. I love that achievement picture. It's Showtime asked, if you destroy a card, can you get it back at some point? So in terms of could you find it again in a gear pack? Of course, like if it comes up again in a gear pack, you can. If you destroy it though, you are deciding to destroy that card in return for scrap. And so you would need to rebuild that card with scrap if you just suddenly decided, oh god, I wanted it again. So it's not one of those things where you can kind of revert your decision and reverse the choice you made, because it's one of those things where you decide to change it for scrap. Is Carmine going to be in the game? It's a question we get everywhere. It was hilarious at Comic-Con, some of the answers. I'm going to have to take Rod's answer here, and it's just play the game and find out. You know, we don't want to talk about kind of specifics like that. It's just to play the game, you know, find out if there's a Carmine. It's one of those things you've got to wait for October for. Awesome. Stomp Your Feet also asked, when does the DLC start for the Season Pass? We haven't announced a specific date for when the DLC is going to start dropping. The one thing I would say is that we have said we will release around 2 maps a month for about a year. So you can kind of make your estimations from that. But we don't have a specific date to share right now. But you know, you can kind of work it from there, I guess. We kept it in UE to kind of keep the tradition, to respect the legacy that had been there with UE. But with Gears of War 4, we want power weapons. Essentially, when you pick up a power weapon, you're taking a risk, right? You're exposed, especially in some of the maps where, you know, we specifically balance it so that when you're picking up a power weapon, you are more exposed than other locations on the map, for example. You know, it's a risk-reward sort of thing, so no weapon siding.
Weapon skins roll over from UE to Gears 4, and no, they will not. However, you may see some weapon skins and items that are maybe inspired by some things in UE, but we're not ready to talk about those yet.
Yeah, I think it's important as well, especially when it comes to community rewards. You know, we're doing it on a, you know, UE, you got rewards for what you were doing around the time of UE, and then with Gears 4, we're kind of taking a clean slate with that. As we have already said earlier in the stream, you know, we do have community rewards lined up, things like Gears Honor and TCA related things that we'll be announcing later. But I think it's important to kind of stress that when you come into this game, it's almost like a fresh start when it comes to anything community you've earned in UE. So if you want to get a cool community exclusive skin, get out there, keep doing awesome things, and maybe you can earn a new one in Gears 4. Sorry, it was still going through. As I said, this is casual. Insane's Bax is asking character customization, question mark. Insane's, if you let me know specifically what you want to know about character customization, I can see if I can answer it. Just to be clear on what character customization is, it is cards for characters. So if you've seen our pre-order characters, things like Zombie Dom, the Farmer Marcus style one, which is Old Man Marcus, and then obviously you've got Tomorrow Anya, who is based on our Tomorrow trailer. They're the examples of quote character customization, but to be clear, you can't, you know, swap outfits, change heads. Every character model is this unique character that's had a lot of love and time and effort put into them by our artists. So
everything's individually crafted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thing I think that's also worth mentioning actually on that subject is the Retro Lancer is something that we announced is coming back around the beta time. We kind of revealed it in our stream. We've since changed that weapon, so originally it was intended to be a starting weapon, and to be clear, it's a very different weapon to what you experienced in Gears of War 3, even back then when we kind of made it a starting weapon. It's now balanced to be essentially like a more powerful Lancer, so essentially what we've done is we've taken it out of being a starting weapon, which it was around the back in the beta time, but obviously it wasn't in the beta. And now we've made it a pickup because we have this new role called secondary weapons. Secondary weapons are essentially, best way to describe it is like Boltox. You're used to Boltox spawning in simultaneous, you know, like mirrored sides of the map. And one person from each team can usually pick up something like a Boltox, right? Well, secondary weapons fall in between power weapons and starting weapons, where you can't start with the weapon, but it's not as powerful as a power weapon, but it's more like an upgraded or kind of in between of the two. And so they spawn in mirrored sides of the map, so the Retro Lancer will spawn in places like you would expect a Boltox to, for example. And it's for one person in your team to kind of have that influence of, okay, for example, with the Retro Lancer, I have a more powerful Lancer but it also requires me to control a lot more kick. And I think it's also worth mentioning with the Retro Lancer, its role is different from Gears 3. So in Gears 3, obviously, it was very powerful on the hipfire. You know, we know there was a bit of frustration out there with that weapon in Gears 3 as well, in terms of its balance, especially in Nash fights, and the ability for really skilled players to kind of fan it at range and still use it at good ranges, as well as up close. It now does not function like that at all. It's designed to be like the Lancer, where it's a mid-range weapon. The Hammerburst will still beat it if you're a good Hammerburst user at long range. But it is not designed to kind of be a very up-close and personal, super stopping power-heavy weapon. There'll be characters in the Season Pass. It's not in the list we've announced with the kind of like content that we're definitely delivering. Who knows what the future holds, but it's not in the plan right now. But that's never to say never. It's just one of those things.
Logical is asking about in-game flares for your favorite teams. So we don't have anything like that planned for right now, but like I said, we do have weapon skins that are going to be coming for teams, and so we're really excited about that. And then a couple more items, not necessarily weapon skins that we'll be announcing in the future, but we haven't figured that out yet, so I don't want to announce anything until it's all set. But there is going to be team branded, team supporting skins that go to support the teams and the players. We just don't have flares to answer your question and are looking into other items.
Yeah, I think to give you something that is similar to flares, to answer it in a kind of more generic Gears 4 perspective. In case you don't know, we do have emblems. So emblems are these really cool little kind of customization items that customize your appearance in lobbies and in the scoreboard.
Yeah, right beside your name.
Right, so for example, right now, if this was Gears 4, and obviously our scoreboard looks a little bit different in Gears 4, but if this was Gears 4, right next to their gamer tags, they'd have this kind of really cool graphic behind. And you can find those in Gears packs, which is really cool. And obviously we've got the community one that we've already announced, which is Gears Honor, and we'll have more on that front. So yeah, like that is a way to kind of have some sort of flair or like customization. I can't speak to if they'll do it for eSports, but it's definitely something that you can do generally in Gears 4. Okay, there's a question we've got to address in chat. There's a lot of people asking, will the Locust be in Gears of War 4 multiplayer? So obviously, the Swarm are our new monster enemy. We're super excited for you all to be playing with those come this October. We've also announced the DBs, so in case you haven't seen it, head on over to IGN. They have a whole month-long coverage on Gears of War 4, and part of that coverage has been revealing the DBs, which we're really excited to have out there. And the DBs also fight in the Swarm team. Those are the I guess you could call them races we'll have for the non-human team, the Swarm team, on release. Who knows what the future holds, but yeah, don't expect to see any Locust when you boot up this October. So we've got a question here for Jace from Jace Stran, nice Gears-based username, asking, I need to know this because I'm not sure, it's really important. Does Gears of War 4 Ultimate Edition give you all the DLC, including the Season Pass? So it gives you the Season Pass, as well as a bunch of extra DLC that's exclusive to the Season Pass. So the Vintage JD pack, which is really cool, which is another one of the Vintage sets. You also get a bunch of gear packs. So gear packs are the way that you acquire cards in Gears 4. By gaining the Season Pass, you actually get, I believe it's 6. I could be wrong on that, it could be 4, but I believe it's 6. Gear packs, and those gear packs will give you a bunch of cards when you boot up day one. So it's a nice way to kind of start your collection, accelerate a little bit at the start. Will it give you all the DLC in terms of every bounty, character, weapon skin in the game? No. The thing the Season Pass does, it gives you access to use every single DLC map we release, which will be free in public play but rotated in and out. So sometimes maps will be available, sometimes maps won't be available. You will have access to them all the time. And of course that also matters for Horde mode, because if you're a big Horde fan and you want to play in private with your friends on whatever map you want, the Season Pass allows you to do that whenever you want, even if the map's not currently in rotation. But to be clear, it does not give you access to every card in the game. Ethan Got Nasher is asking, what are the types of cards we can expect in gear packs? So there's each gear, we have a different variety of gear packs that, again, we'll be talking about a little bit closer to release in terms of specifics, but we have different types, so it's hard to kind of essentially say this is definitely what will be in every gear pack. However, I can tell you the types of cards. So the types of cards we have are characters. So that's things like our pre-order characters that we've shown off, which is really cool. So like your Zombie Dom, for example, is an example of a character card. Then we have weapon skins. So weapon skin cards are individual to each weapon. So one of the cool things about Gears 4 is that any weapon in the game, pretty much, apart from I believe the heavy weapons, can be customized with your own skin. And so you can find a weapon skin card, and instead of it being for like the whole set, for example, you get, the cool thing is that you collect them by weapon. So for example, if I found the jungle camo long shot, for example, I've now got that skin for the long shot. And that means that when I pick it up, it's going to switch to my jungle camo, and it's going to look super cool. And so now you can really add a lot more customization of flavor to any weapon you pick up on the battlefield.
Plus, it's just so nice to browse and equip. It's so much better.
Yeah, I know, right? Like the way we've done our inventory and the fact that you can see ones you don't own, so you can be like, oh, I really want that, is really cool as well. And as you said, the eSports stuff is a particular highlight.
Yeah.
I have a bit of a crush on that stuff. And then, so then we've also got emblems. So as we talked about, emblems are the customization that goes behind your name in the scoreboard and in the lobby. So that's a way to kind of personalize your look a little bit more when you're not in the game. And those can be found in gear packs. Then we've got versus bounties. In fact, versus and horde bounties. So you can get bounties for versus and horde, and those are the things that you can equip going into a match or a game of horde, where you essentially decide, okay, I think I can get 10 headshots in one game, for example. And if you complete that reward, then you'll get, if you complete that bounty, you'll then earn a reward, whether that's credits or XP. And credits are what you use to get gear packs just by playing. So anything you do in the game earns you gear packs in online multiplayer modes. And then we also have horde skills, which we aren't talking about yet. That's packs. So basically all we can say is that there's horde skills, and you'll have to wait to packs to find out what that means for horde.
Awesome. Onyx Guard again is asking, is there going to be any more esports swag on the store? Yes, hopefully throughout Gears of War 4, and we're also looking into making sure that we still have really cool items available at our live events and for giveaways and stuff like that as well. The pins. Yes, I want to have like a different weapon for every event. How cool would that be?
Yeah, I think by the end, like you're gonna have to get someone who's got like a Mr. T style jacket where it's just full up of like pins all along someone's jacket.
What is that movie? Is it Office Space? The one where they have the vest that has all of the flair on it?
Yes.
Like that will be me with all of the pins.